My computer is saying we're live. Are you getting that, Scott?
Yep. Madam Chair, we are live and recording. The meeting is yours.
Okay. I need to read this statement. So the opening meeting of the Northborough Parks and Recreation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order, March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor ordered suspended requirements of the open meeting law to have all meetings in public access physically location. All members of the Northborough Parks and Recreation Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows Northborough Parks and Recreation Commission to meet entirely remotely so long as a reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not at this time feature public comment. The chair confirms that the board members and persons anticipated on the agenda are remotely present and can be heard by stating the following. So I'm just going to do roll call. So Allie Lane.
Here, I can hear you.
Gary.
Here, I can hear you.
Mark.
Here, I can hear you good.
Scott.
Present.
And Robo. Okay, we'll start by approving.
Don't forget Tracy, she's in.
Here.
Oh, Tracy, I'm sorry, I didn't see you pop up.
That's okay.
I'm here on the phone. Does that count?
Oh,
And
Sean's here.
Yep, and Sean.
Aha.
Start by approving the minutes from the November meeting, which is the last time that we met.
Wow. Yeah, I'd vote to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay, we call the meeting, call the meeting to start. Okay, Allie, do you want to start with?
Sure.
recreation?
I have a very small report. It's more, I know I've been sending you guys emails, sort of updating you what's going on with the rec department and what's going on in our world. As of now, the rec department is still closed. I am working with Andy in the town clerk's office doing ballots, and now I'm working over at the senior center doing the early voting. So I've been working with him pretty much this whole time. But that will be coming to a close on November 3rd, and I'll be coming back down to recreation to open up the office. I do have some very, very sad news to report, and that is that Michelle will not be coming back to the recreation department. She has decided to stay with the planning and engineering department where she was moved, just to kind of give her some place to go during the pandemic. And she's really enjoying it. She likes working with Kathy and Fred. She basically just let me know that the challenges up there, she's really been enjoying and she wanted to stay. So very sad for me, very sad for all of you. Sean, that's why she's not available to help you.
I'm really disheartened.
Yeah, I was stunned, but I understand, and I'm very happy for Kathy and Fred because Michelle was a fantastic employee and a very good friend. We worked together for 15 years, and even though I'll see her every day in the town hall, she will be greatly missed down in the recreation department. So I would like to thank her for everything that she has done. So just to sort of give you an update, I am going to be putting some new programs on our website this week. I'm going to be working with Westboro Tennis and Swim and Shrewsbury, it's not even Shark anymore, the Shrewsbury Racket Club. They are both open. They're both going forward with all the COVID guidelines, but you are able to swim, you're able to play tennis, you're able to play baseball and softball. So those are the programs I'm going to coordinate with them and be working closely with them to get some programs started outside of the, in the recreation office. I'm pretty excited about that. Also, I've been scheduling fields and dealing with the lights and just kind of working with that this fall. Baseball and softball have been going every day on the weekends. The lights have been on about 3 days a week. So it's been great. It's actually going to be more now because soccer's moving some practices over there to use the lights since it's getting dark so early. But it's wonderful. I love it. The schools are being used as far as the fields. So we've just been keeping busy with that. It's pretty much all I have in the rec world. We're moving forward. I did meet with John Coder in reference to the recreation department as far as Michelle's position. He has informed me that myself and that position has been fully funded through the general fund until July 31st, and that he's committed to funding the rec department if for any reason we can't have camp again this summer. So he told me not to worry. As of right now, him and I have decided, because it's such minimal programming, that we're not going to fill the assistant position right now, just because there's just not really a need for 2 full-time people. But as soon as that does happen, as soon as there is that need, he said I can fill that. So I'm not as worried as I was before when she gave her notice, because sometimes positions seem to disappear. But so I'm confident. I'm looking forward to planning spring and summer programs. I know the trend is not really looking like that's going to happen, but I'm going to stay optimistic about it. And that's all I have for the rec report. Do you guys have any questions for me? Okay.
I just have one thing to add, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You referenced the lights. I don't know if everyone's aware, if anyone's listening in, how important those lights were for the middle school, and equally important was the community preservation committee in making sure that those were funded. To me, it's just tremendous that facility now is becoming one of our best youth facilities in town. I think it's second only to 135, in all honesty.
I agree.
And I think it's a tribute to Parks and Rec and community preservation to just keep going forward with that. So anyone that doesn't know about it should avail themselves of stopping by Melican and taking a look at the facility. I think it's great.
I 100% agree. And it also was helpful that Bobby Bradway from Diamond Athletic Turf had a free day. And so he brought his crew down and they redid the softball and baseball field for us. And it looks great. It looks really great. I was just so ecstatic. I was really happy about that. And he did it at no charge. So it was
excellent.
Yeah. Next, I just wanted to briefly update you guys on the open space and rec plan that Mark and I have been working very hard on. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate your time because it's a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been worthwhile though. I've learned a lot.
It's definitely interesting. It's, you don't realize the effect that you have on these when you're looking 10 years out, because they're generally 10 years long. So we pretty much sent out our surveys. We went through everything. Right now, we're just putting all the data together. And what we're coming up with as far as recreation, the 2 top most important things that people in the town want are a dog park and pickleball courts outside. So that's what we've discovered from the public, from all of the responses to the surveys. There's obviously a lot more going on. It's not just rec, it's open space and rec. And we'll be sending out more information as we get it, but we're still in the works for it. It's all you, Scott. You got anything for the DPW report?
Oh, Public Works is exciting as always. I will pick up where Mark was touching off. The Melican project, the lights are up, they're running, they are app ready. Ally is capable of running the lights remotely from any COVID compliant state that she chooses to be in, which is fantastic. We have the grass has been split seeded a second time this fall. It was a challenging growth season this past year due to the drought. So we're going to have another split seed in the spring, and the expectation is that grass will be play ready the fall of next year. It could be light ready in the spring, but I want to get another good growth cycle on it. The project came in under budget. Contractor was great on both sides, grass as well as lighting. Speaking of lights, we have some light bulbs that are out at Casey Field, and the new representative from baseball met me out there, gave me the bulbs. So we will be replacing those bulbs as soon as the season likely ends, unfortunately, but we'll get that thing better lit. The COVID communication situation at the play fields is a challenge. As everybody knows, it seems like on a weekly basis, the CDC or the DPH changes what the COVID rules are and what they need to be and how it needs to be posted. We've been struggling, as a lot of communities have been, with putting up signs. Do we get field signs that get blown away? Do we get aluminum signs that are costly? The decision has been made to purchase some message boards, some message centers. You see them a lot posted outside of like trails and things. So you can open up a plexiglass, put something up in the cork board. They're going to be large size, 30 inches tall, like 44 inches wide. So you can put large postings on them. Our intent is to have multiple message centers at the play fields so that as the COVID protocols change, we can pull down paper, put up paper in a secure fashion and notify the public of the safe way to utilize the facilities. So that's it's a benefit, and we're hoping we can get those procured shortly so that come prior to the freeze and then next year's play season, they're in place and they're being utilized. That's all I have, Ally.
Okay. So as far as new business, I just wanted to just quickly let you guys know while I had you all together that we are looking to put in another CPC proposal because of the open space plan that we've been working on, and because of the fact that I'm very close with the pickleball community. We know that there is a large need to get some outdoor courts. So what we're going to be doing is going forward with putting a proposal together to put 6 courts at Ellsworth McAfee. I don't know, Scott, can you share the...
I'm doing it now, Ally.
Oh, you're so good.
Shocking, right?
We got some rough cost estimates for putting 4 courts at the senior center in the recreational portion, which means we'd have to do some tree clearing, build a parking lot, build a driveway. It was pretty costly, but we also looked at putting 6 courts at Ellsworth, which when you see the diagram, it'll be better than me describing it, but it's going to be towards the road at 135.
Sharing it now.
Ah, there we go. So here's the pavilion is the building, and we're looking to put it, all of them facing north-south, so the sun isn't in their way, but it would be, pretty close to the road. We'd have fencing all the way around. But the cost estimate that we received for here is $290,250.
So it includes bituminous concrete walkways here and parallel with the courts for access, 10-foot black vinyl coated chain link fence around, pedestrian gates, and obviously the asphalt court underlayment and the It's not paint, it's actually like an epoxy coating for the courts. Would you like me to share the senior center version?
Sure, please.
Actually, the Patch just had an article,
Yes.
Shrewsbury's pickleball courts.
But they just painted over some tennis courts, which is great. I'm glad
Yeah.
they did it, but this is a much bigger scale for
Yeah.
what we're looking for. This is almost kind of in terms of the new ones that they built over in Westboro on
Yes.
Lyman Street.
Yep.
So the ones over at the senior center would be a lot more costly because of all the things that I listed before, as far as there would be clearing of trees, you would have to be starting from scratch. So the cost for that came out to be $480,625. And that would be for just 4 courts.
One of the challenges with the senior center parcel is that it needs to be on the recreation parcel. And they're, because of the somewhat remote location relevant to the parking for the senior center, it would require construction of a dedicated parking lot, which adds substantial costs. In addition, there's some discharges from the senior center. The heat system, the geothermal system has a discharge here, would need to be relocated, but this is the layout that's proposed.
The senior center director, Liz, who she started the week of the pandemic, so her building hasn't been open since she started, and she's been really looking forward to getting people into her facility. But she really wanted to have it there. Her and I have discussed this. I've discussed it with Scott, and I think financially the best bet would be to go to Ellsworth McAfee, because you're getting 6 courts for almost $200,000 less. I also think that Ellsworth McAfee is a better location for safety reasons, because there's other people there. They're going to sort of be alone at the senior center. Yes, the center's there, but there's no windows looking out over that. They wouldn't really have any eyes on them. And I think it's just sort of a remote location. What do you guys think? I just wanted to get your opinion on the 2 options.
I like it at Ellsworth. I think it looks right there up front. I think it's very visible. Yeah, I like that location. And you got a lot in that space. That space always feels underutilized too. So I like it there.
The last time we used that space was parking for the fireworks.
Right.
And I like it because you still have the grass between the pavilion area and that. So if someone is renting the pavilion, they're still going to have some area that's sort of a buffer between them. And I don't think people realize that those courts are going to be utilized all day long.
Oh, yeah.
They will be very popular.
Maybe all pickleball, right? Like there'd be no tennis, right?
No tennis, no.
And we think that in the parking over there, you think will be okay for even, when they have a full field for soccer and everything else too. Do you think there's enough parking there?
I mean, as far as parking is concerned, there's enough spots.
Yeah.
It will be tight. It's busy there.
Yeah, it is on the weekends. It's definitely busy. But I mean, the most of the time they're there during the mornings and the daytime on the week. I'm sure there'll be people there all weekend, but it's just another part of the park. You know what I mean? It would just be another activity.
And there's no plan for lights or anything like that, I'm guessing, right now, right? Okay.
The park closes at dark, so we're not planning on adding anything that would keep it open longer.
Yeah, it looks like a great spot.
Yeah, I like it
It
there.
looks like an
Gary,
awesome
you're
spot.
muted. Were you saying something?
I was just telling my wife I bought chicken breast.
Oh. Thought you were talking to us.
Busted.
Well, what do you think of pickleball, Gary?
I think it's great, and I agree with Tracy. I love that spot. I think it adds a dimension to the park, and it makes it a little more inviting driving by. Because right now, when you drive by, you just see kind of your view's almost obstructed. So to see activity so close, I think is a bonus. I mean, I'm losing a little bit of a potential flag football field, but with the lights at Milliken, it balances.
I also like the fact that we're adding activities for everyone. You know what I mean? Yes, a large population that does pickleball is seniors, but we also have a very large population of adults, of, active parents that are really getting into the sport. And I think that, their kids playing soccer or playing basketball or whatever they may be doing, you know what I mean? It gives them an opportunity to go over and play pickleball. So everybody's staying active, which is what, this commission is, that's our goal. So I think it really falls in line with what we're trying to do. Sean, what do you think?
I think it's great. The more varied activities we get there, it's what the whole facility's for. So
Yeah.
I think it's great. Just like you said, a different group of people get to utilize the town facility. Well overdue.
And Sean, as the CPC liaison, I did talk to Kathy about the cost for the 290 and whether or not she thought that would be something we could fund, as a one project for this year. And she hasn't gotten all the applications in. Obviously, they're not due until November. So it's really dependent on what the other applications are. But what do you think as far as the CPC, in your opinion? Would they support something like this?
Yeah, I think they definitely will. The only unfortunate thing, each year the state match is decreased.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually the only holdback to funding it all in 1 year or two, because we have other considerations that we have to take care of also. But
Correct.
I don't see the project itself or the intent of that being a problem at all.
Okay.
I think last year we were close to, I think our match was down to like 17%. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
that's what predicates how much we can spend.
Okay. Thank
My
you.
sense is they'd definitely be open to looking and improving it for sure, project.
What was your timeline or your hope, Ally, with this?
Well, we'd have to put the application in November. Obviously, it goes to town meeting. If the CPC decides to move forward with it, it would be voted in at town meeting, and then the funds would be available July 1st.
July 1, okay.
Yes. I would like to see the project done before soccer ramps up in in the fall, because that's when it gets really busy. But that would be a Scott question, because I don't know if by looking at his face, I'm insane, but I want it done by August 30th.
Once you had the funding, how long do you think it will take to, like, realistically, how long do you think it will take to put the facility together?
We could give out inaugural sweatshirts for a December pickleball game. It will take all of the summer to design, bid, build into the fall, and seriously, generally between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we could like pop the pickleball for the first time.
Sort of what I said.
Or by the start of soccer in April, right after town meeting, whatever.
My reality is a little different from Scott's reality. Mine is wishful. His is really reality. Did you guys have anything else for new business as opposed to what was on the agenda?
I do.
Okay.
I would like to welcome Gary to the commission. We are more than happy to have you and excited.
Thank you. I'm honored to be part of it.
We're excited to come over for dinner later too. In fact, we only had 2 chicken breasts. It's kind of not really going to help this. Welcome aboard, Gary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Ally said she was going to pick up the bill and everything. That was one of the enticements.
Very good.
Thank you, Faith. So I just have 2 things for old business. One I have on the agenda, and that was just to kind of go over the CPC Assabet Park project that we were working on. I don't know, Scott, you're a little more up to date on that. Do you mind just giving them an overview on how we're doing?
So the landscape architect has been engaged. it's a contract for slightly over $60,000, $60,250. There's a couple different procurement mechanisms to go about securing the play equipment, and we've discussed it at length with the LA firm. There are numerous play equipment suppliers on the state bid list. Our preference is to engage one of the or a couple of the equipment suppliers that are available on the state bid list to get some options to go through the public vetting process. The difference between going off the state bid list and doing a public bid is that in a public bid, you need to performance specify what you want the contractor to provide, and there's always some question on what they end up submitting. And the benefit of going off the public bid list is you have the ability to select exactly what you want. For example, in Auburn, I worked on a playground, and off the public bid list, we were allowed to procure rocket-themed play equipment because the first rocket engineer was in Auburn. So there's that opportunity, and it's difficult to do that through public procurement. So my expectation is going to be a two-tiered process. The landscape architect is going through the land survey and the layout, and we will select the best and most applicable equipment suppliers and then start the public vetting process. My expectation is that in the next 3 months, we'll have some stakeholders from the public get together, talk to us about what they like and don't like. That includes this commission, and then have a public charrette to present alternatives we've come up with.
Awesome. It's very exciting.
I
And
mean,
then-
it's not exciting, I'm sorry.
I'm excited because you get to do all the hard work and then I get to reap all the great
That's
stuff.
great.
Lastly, one of the things I wanted to quickly mention, I know we went over this at our last meeting in November, and that was the fact that we were going to hang some signs up at Ellsworth McAfee saying that there were no bikes allowed on the walking path. We did have some signs made up, and they lasted about 3 days, and then they were vandalized and ripped out of the ground. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, I got a lot of emails, but surprisingly, most of them were from people thanking me for not allowing biking. I got more people that were happy about it than people that weren't happy about it. Since then, over the summer, with the pandemic going on, once people were allowed to go outside, I don't know if you ever noticed driving past Ellsworth McAfee, it was very busy there. There were actually quite a few incidences with the bikes and people walking. We had some injuries. We had some very close calls. We had, I've had at least half a dozen emails from people saying that the children were very rude when spoken to because they hit them or they almost hit them. It's not a good scene. People are asking me to somehow start enforcing this. They just want it to be heard. They want people to know that no bikes are there. So it's just something I wanted to bring up with you guys again. Scott and I have been discussing it, and we're having some more signs made to put down there. And now that I'm going to be more of an active participant in the rec department, I'm going to be sending out emails and sort of addressing it. It kind of got pushed to the side, but with the amount of incidents that happened over the summer, in the fall, I think we need to definitely address this again. I don't know if you guys have heard anything or saw anything, but it's definitely something that the public is looking for.
The signs will be installed in the next week or so. They're not little field signs that angry cyclists can toss to the side. They're going to be stable aluminum signs properly mounted on posts. So it'll be a much more permanent installation. And
again, when Scott was talking about having those the big signs that we're going to be putting up, that's something we can put in there as well. You know what I mean? That we can change out the signs in the billboard that we're going to be putting up, which I think is a really good thing. It doesn't have to necessarily be just CDC guidelines. It's big enough that we can put different things in there in the billboards that we're going to be putting up as well.
Is there a way we could put like speed bump or something in a few places, like just to kind of, because they're not listening or paying attention.
No. And unfortunately, the people that are getting injured are the elderly.
Yep.
And actually not just the elderly. We've had some people in their 30s and 40s that have been hit by the kids on the bikes. But I was called by a woman who was using a walker and was hit by a bicyclist. And we just need to, it's just not the right place. And I understand that parents are upset because they want to teach their kids how to ride a bike, and that's a safe place to do it. My major concern is that it's just not an appropriate place, because it's the one place that people should be able to go and walk and run and feel safe as well. And it's just not happening. They're just not working together. So I know as a group, we met, we talked, we decided we weren't going to allow bikes. And I just wanted you as a commission to know that we're moving forward with, putting up more signs. I'm going to be doing a lot more education on this to the community. And if anybody comes up to you and talks about it, obviously you can tell them where we're coming from and sort of help us on this mission of making it safe for people. And that is all I have, folks. We lost Sean along the way, so. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to bring up? Okay.
All to adjourn the meeting.
Next
Do
meeting?
you want to make a time for next month?
One
Well,
question.
actually,
Did you
it's
address-
the end of October, so maybe we can touch base the first week in December, the first Tuesday
Sure.
in December.
Did you guys address the master plan implementation committee before I got on?
No, thank you. We
Only
did
because you
not.
sent that email today.
Yes, and I appreciate you bringing that up, because I did want to see if anybody was interested. And Tracy, I also looked into that. I talked to Kathy, and she's going to be the one that's sort of spearheading that as a town employee. And she said that it's going to be basically like a big brother operation, where they're just making sure that the things that everybody wanted in the master plan are actually being implemented. So it would be something where they would meet once every 3 or 4 months and just kind of go over what has been done and what they need to do in the next coming months, and just sort of following through to see that it's being, looked at and it's not being forgotten.
Okay.
So we're just looking for one person on this committee to sort of engage in that and make sure. I mean, unfortunately,
I can do that. I'll do that because
oh, wonderful.
stepped up for other things that I haven't had the opportunity to do. So I'll take this on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Basically, you
Yeah.
would just have to kind of review. Kathy could send you a copy of the master plan,
Yeah.
and you would just have to, acquaint yourself with that, make sure you're familiar with it, so that when you do meet, you would know
Yeah. Okay.
what everybody was talking about. Awesome.
Yeah. I have read through it, but yes, a copy would be good.
Thank you.
Want to meet the 1st or the 8th?
Sorry, just procedurally, can we have a nomination, second, and vote to have
yeah.
Tracy serve on that committee, please?
I nominate Tracy to be our volunteer for the master plan committee.
Second that. The beach you carry, I think.
All right.
Thanks for doing that, Tracy.
Sure. I think you've been a heavy hitter recently. in the other committees
Is
now,
that right?
so-
I was like,
My
once every 3 or
favorite-
4 months, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Right. I'll jump on that.
Yeah.
Mark, my favorite was Kathy. Kathy was under the impression that you're on the open space now as our liaison. I said,
Oh,
I'll let him know.
Pass the open space and rec plan. I don't know. We may never wrap up that open space and rec plans. This might just go on, and it's all right. Like I said, I've learned a lot in those meetings, and those are awesome people. I've learned more about
Work hard.
Oh my gosh, they work really hard. So I've been impressed with all that. Like, honestly, I learned so much more about the town than I ever knew before from an open space standpoint. So it's been eye-opening for me. So I've enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Okay, what did you say the date was for the next one?
Oh,
Oh,
did you
yeah.
guys want to do the 1st or the 8th?
I think I'd prefer the 8th. I don't care. I could,
Yeah, no,
you know
the
what?
8th, yeah, no, the
December,
8th is
anything
better.
could happen. Yeah, whatever. I could do either.
Yeah, December 8th would be better for me, I think. I don't know about everybody
Okay.
else.
Okay.
Is 6 o'clock a good time for everybody? We're Zooming, so if you need to do, a different time, or does this seem to work?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Okay.
Works great for me. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Best commute I've had in years.
All right, call to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.